Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at the EndTimeNews.org, and today is June 13th, 2012. There are reports circulating the internet concerning elevated radiation levels in Indiana and Michigan that were allegedly caused by leaking radiation at the Besse nuclear facility in Ohio. Reports are also circulating that there were explosions and the deployment of Homeland Security personnel along with unmarked military-style helicopters. As far as I've been able to ascertain, some of it is true and some is not. It is true that the Besse nuclear plant developed a leak in one of its cooling pipes. However, officials maintain that no radiation leaked out of the facility. Yet, at the same time, it has been verified that radiation levels indeed spiked for a period of several hours in Indiana and Michigan areas. I'll link you guys up to a YouTuber who goes by the handle of Dutchsinse. He has done an excellent job verifying the elevated radiation levels. I'll also place a link in the box below. Now, concerning the explosions, Homeland Security, and the mysterious helicopters, I've not been able to confirm that it has actually happened, although I tend to believe that it's merely a hoax. During my research, I discovered a website that wrote an article describing the alleged events and even included a video that was reported to have captured some of the mayhem as it was happening. Well, let me tell you, the video was an absolute fake. In the video, the videographer apologized for the video being so dark, but he claimed that it was due to his filming in the dark of night. The problem with that explanation is that his video wasn't dark, it was 100% pitch black. Now, I've worked with video recording devices for a number of years, starting as far back as the 1970s using 8mm film, which made it extremely difficult to record in dark or low light conditions. But today, even if you go to a pawn shop and purchase a camcorder from the 1995 era, it will still capture enough ambient light in a normal nighttime scene. There would at least be the glow of street lights, a neighbor's porch lights, and most certainly the bright fiery glow from an explosion. The article also mentioned that there were many witnesses and that the government issued a news blackout. But even this is highly suspect. The news blackout is understandable, but how does the government keep hundreds or even thousands of witnesses from spreading the word? After all, people do like to talk. Now here's an article that's more likely to be closer to the truth. Besse is still leaky. The Besse nuclear plant is basically held together with duct tape and gum, which makes the latest update all the less surprising. Over its 35-year history, Besse has cracked and moaned along, shutting down intermittently for cracked lid, and then more cracks, and what do you know, some more cracks. Inspectors found another leak this week, a pinhole-sized one, as they were checking out the nuts and bolts as Besse cranked up towards restarting operations. Radioactive coolant did not escape the facility, according to reports, but it's another notch on the Besse's spotty reputation. Workers discovered the leak in a pipe well Wednesday night as they were getting ready to restart the reactor after a month-long maintenance shutdown. The plant was at full pressure at the time, but the reactor was not yet operating, Young said. It's not known exactly when the leak began, but it had been less than 24 hours, she said. Such leaks are not uncommon, said Victoria Mittling, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. She said nuclear plants go through an extensive startup process after outages to look for problems. The leak Wednesday will be repaired, plant operators said. Now keep in mind that if this leak turns out to be of disastrous proportions, it'll probably be some time before they actually let us know about it. But in the meantime, as I said earlier, Dutchsinse of YouTube did some research on his own, and there was indeed a radiation spike level. Now, that doesn't mean it necessarily came from, the Davis-Besse plant. It could have come from solar radiation or some other source. Now, in other news, the crisis in Syria is rapidly heating up to the boiling point, with military intervention appearing more likely by the day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a new Cold War with Russia that is threatening to engulf the entire world in thermonuclear war. The developing situation in Syria, where women and children are being systematically targeted for massacre, presumably in an effort to get NATO involved in their civil war, and the mad pursuit of Iran's Ahmadinejad and Ayatollah Khomeini towards the creation of nuclear weapons in order to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, has placed the nations of the West, NATO and its allies, including America, against Russia, its allies, its military, and its nuclear might. As the tensions increase, the U.S. is preparing for war in the Middle East, and so is Russia. In this article, Russia sending attack helicopter shipment to Syria, Hillary Clinton says. And I'll just read you guys a little bit of this. It says, Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton said on Tuesday that Russia is sending a shipment of attack helicopters to Syria, warning that the conflict there could escalate without a regime change. We are concerned about the latest information we have that there are attack helicopters on the way from Russia to Syria, Clinton said, echoing remarks she made last week, calling for Syrian President Bashar Assad to be removed from power. The United States and United Nations are attempting to put pressure on Russia and China to help end the 15-month-old conflict that has left more than 13,000 Syrians dead. Russia has refused to cooperate. We are watching this very carefully, Clinton said. Now, another thing about this is that when Russia sends these attack helicopters to Syria, are they also sending Russian pilots? Because if they do, then that will pit the U.S. and NATO and the Western nations against Russia directly.
U.S. President Barack Obama has ordered preparations for a pinpointed air operation in Syria, roughly on the lines of the Libyan air offensive which toppled Muammar Gaddafi last year. It will target Syrian air bases like the As Suwaida facility, from which Bashar Assad launches his Air Force planes and helicopters into action against the uprising. The air offensive will also hit the command centers of military forces fighting the rebellion at Homs and Idlib. A prime target is Assad's presidential palace and military headquarters situated in a compound atop Mount Qasiyun north of Damascus, which can only be approached through an underground road. The offensive is planned as a combined U.S., British, French mission.
A United States congressional intelligence report has alleged that Russia's government-run weapons manufacturer is supplying equipment for Iran's missile program. According to the report, this does not represent official cooperation between Moscow and Tehran, but rather demonstrates the inability of the Russian government to stop state firms from engaging in illegal trade with the Islamic Republic. The report suggests that Russians do not see trade agreements with Iran relevant to Tehran's commercial space programs as violating international sanctions regarding missile sales. U.S.-Russia relations have been under scrutiny since Vladimir Putin was re-elected as president, and the issue of Iran could prove to be a major bone of contention. Last month, Moscow warned the Obama administration of severe ramifications if Russian companies operating in Iran were affected by new U.S. sanctions aimed at preventing the Islamic Republic from developing atomic weapons.
Friends, there are far too many people who are either not aware that we are living in the last days, or they simply do not believe in the last days. One of the scriptures that many quote is in the book of Matthew, which in essence states that no man knows the day or the hour. But it also states that we would know when it is near, even at the doors. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the end is near, and even at the doors. The Antichrist is alive and well, and already working towards his ultimate goal, which is to destroy God's creation. How do I know that he is already on the scene? For one, the false religion of false prophets and the fact that many mainstream churches are moving away from the gospel of Jesus Christ, even denying his deity, death, burial, and resurrection, in effect saying that there are many roads that lead to heaven. Secondly, the implementation of the New World Order and the One World Government, which I may discuss at another time if God's willing. But for now, it is the implementation of the mark of the beast. I want you guys to watch this short video commercial that is promoting the radio frequency identification microchip as a modern technological convenience and indeed a life-saving necessity.
To think something so small can connect you to everything that matters.
When your life and all you love
are on the line.
HealthLink is always with you when every second counts in the emergency room, providing immediate access to your medical records.
Because Bob has trouble remembering all his medications.
Because I'm in love with my kids' kids.
Because my car lost control while driving.
Because now I'm looking out for both of us.
Because I have diabetes, but it doesn't have me.
Because I spend my life in the ER trying to save yours.
Although it's presented as just another useful technology, it is in fact the mark of the beast. At first, it will be freedom of choice, but when it has become more commonly accepted, it will become mandatory. As a matter of fact, President Obama's health care plan includes the establishment of a national medical device registry as stated in the bill H.R. 3962. This registry is for identification purposes, for data and information on individuals, and as a method of payment for services rendered at health facilities. The device referred to in the bill is a radio frequency identification implantable microchip that will contain all your data, including your financial information and the means of accessing your bank account. Now, at some point in the near future, this chip will become mandatory, and anyone who doesn't have one will not be able to participate in the world economy. We are headed for a cashless society, and this will be the means by which it will be possible. Do not accept this chip under any circumstances. If you do, you will be damned to eternal hell and you cannot be saved. The book of Revelation chapter 13 verses 15 through 18 tell us about this mark, this microchip that they're trying to implant most of us with now. 15 states, "He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed." Now I want to pause here for a second, because the image of the beast is going to be this entire beast system, or at least in part. So the beast system, part of that is the microchip. So if you accept the microchip and the beast takes over, you're going to be pledging your allegiance to the beast, and as far as God's concerned, you're going to be worshiping the beast, and you cannot be saved. In 16 it goes on to say, "And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And then in 18 it goes on to say, "Here is wisdom. Let he who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number of the beast is a number of a man, and his number is 666. Folks, It is time for us to wake up and start opening our eyes. The mark of the beast is here, and even now as I am speaking, there is a large number of people throughout Europe, the United States, and other countries who have already accepted the RFID microchip implant under their skins. For one reason or another, most think that it's a modern technological convenience, and that's quite unfortunate. In closing, I would just like to say that many people are watching the unusual events and frightening developments taking place around the world and are hoping that things will get better. But I'm telling you that if you are not saved by Jesus Christ, things will not get better for you. God will finish pouring out his wrath and bring a conclusion to this age. But for those who have not repented, it will only get worse, and furthermore, it will be for all eternity. Are you saved? Follow the link below, pray the prayer of salvation with all sincerity, and you will be saved. It is my prayer that God bless each and every one of you with ears to hear, eyes to see, and a heart to receive. In Jesus' name, amen.